No one in these villages has irrigation water. In places like Akhuryan and Jirapi, people have orchards, but they use drinking water to irrigate. Many plants are left uncultivated. Water doesn't reach there. Back in the Soviet days, the plan was to pump water up to the hills to irrigate these areas. After the Soviet Union collapsed, that system fell apart, pipes disappeared. Water is life. With water, you can grow anything, trees, gardens, everything.
Many villages near the Akhuryan Reservoir in northwestern Armenia lack access to irrigation. In the past, water was delivered via pumping stations, but those have since decayed and are no longer functional.
We dug a well 8 meters deep for household use like bathing and laundry, but it's not safe to drink. Nearly every household in the village relies on such wells. This is our well 8 meters deep. Water is pumped into the house through a pipe, but there's not enough to irrigate gardens.
Of Armenia's roughly 80 reservoirs, the largest is Akhuryan, with a capacity of 525 million cubic meters. It was commissioned in 1980 under a 1973 agreement between the USSR and Turkey. That agreement regulated the flow of the Akhuryan, Kars, Karahan and Chorli rivers, stipulating a 50-50 water-sharing arrangement. Water usage and monitoring at the Akhuryan Reservoir are governed by several interstate agreements signed between Turkey and the USSR in 1927, 1964, 1973 and 1990. These remain in effect despite the USSR's collapse and the absence of diplomatic ties between Armenia and Turkey.
See those villages? That's the city of Ani. There's something like a cable car built there. 2 people ride it, one from the Turkish side, one from ours. They sit together and measure the river, its speed, width, depth, meter by meter.
Downstream from the Akhuryan Reservoir, a hydrometric station performs these measurements, which form the basis for water allocation. A similar setup exists on the Arax River. Armenian and Turkish experts regularly meet on both sides of the border to coordinate water matters.
Technically, these are hydrometric stations, thanks to joint work by specialists from both sides. They measure the river's flow to determine how much water is available and how it should be allocated, now and in the coming months. These meetings have been ongoing since the early 1990s. There's strictly technical discussions, how much water is available, how to distribute it, and so on.
The Akhuryan Reservoir primarily supplies the Armenian provinces of Shirak, Armavir, and Aragatsotn. Water is delivered through complex hydraulic infrastructure, including the Tallinn Canal, 9 kilometers, and the Armavir Canal, 54 kilometers. Experts warn that water shortages will intensify due to 3 main factors: climate change, deteriorating infrastructure, and the accelerated construction of dams in Turkey, which could significantly reduce water inflow into Armenia.
For the past year, I've been updating data through spatial analysis to understand the situation. Dam construction continues in the upper Arax basin. Major new dams have been built in recent years, such as the Karakurt Dam, and others like Tuzluca are planned. The flow will keep decreasing. Turkey intends to store up to 1.4 billion cubic meters of water. They've done the same with the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, reducing flow into Syria.
According to Deputy Minister of Environment, Ayser Ghazaryan, Turkey plans to commission 23 dams in that region in the coming years. 9 are completed, 7 are designed, and the rest are in planning. 2 dams are particularly concerning: Karakurt and Tuzluca. In addition to irrigation, these will also serve hydroelectric purposes. Tuzluca poses greater risks to Armenia than the larger Karakurt. Its main goal is to supply drinking and irrigation water to 70 surrounding Turkish villages. According to a report by Armenia's Ministry of Environment and the UNDP on the impact of climate change on surface water resources in the Ararat Valley, Turkish construction of dams on the Arax River and its tributaries could significantly reduce the river's flow and directly affect the water availability in Armenia's Ararat Valley. The Arax feeds irrigation systems that serve approximately 20,000 hectares in the valley via the Armavir Canal.
Based on rough estimates, the demand for irrigation water in the Ararat Valley will increase by 38 to 42%. At the same time, the situation with artesian water is catastrophic. The well conservation process has failed. This will make water access increasingly difficult, especially for rural populations. Let's not forget that the Ararat Valley accounts for 40% of Armenia's total agricultural output. We must at least maintain that level going forward.
Armenia, for its part, has initiated the construction of a new reservoir. In 2023, work began on the Caps Reservoir in Shirak province, with a planned total capacity of 60 million cubic meters. If built with a capacity of 25 million cubic meters, the reservoir will provide irrigation water for approximately 17,000 hectares of land and make it possible to replace mechanical irrigation with gravity-fed systems on an additional 2,280 hectares. There are also plans to extend this irrigation method to villages near the Akhuryan reservoir. According to geographer Stepan Khachatryan, the core issue is not a lack of water, but a lack of planning.
It may sound like empty bureaucracy, but planning really matters. I think the Water Committee is doing the best it can. Based on the data, it has to ensure high-quality distribution. That's not to say everything is perfect, far from it. But if the committee had more accurate forecasting data, it could plan water distribution more effectively.
Khachatryan adds that dialogue and cooperation with Turkey are essential from both an economic and strategic standpoint.
I can't say for sure whether a new agreement is needed, but the growing water stress is certainly a reason for at least technical level discussions.
Though long-term fluctuations in water availability have been limited, the cumulative effects of climate change, Turkey's dam building spree, and poor infrastructure management will undoubtedly impact Armenia's water security, agriculture, and food systems.